I think all the shock and excitement, I suppose, for the few fans who were at the stadium is still reverberating around here. But the biggest one of them all, though, coming out of the press conference, Velile Mnyandu here with me, you'd have been to many games where Bafana played away from home against a host nation. That 90-minute performance, what did you make of that and where did it come from?
Rob, coming to today's game, we were chatting with some of the guys, media from here, and we were saying Bafana would not make a big game today since 2010 World Cup. 75,000 Egyptians here against South Africa, and given the performances coming from the group stages, Egypt not conceding a single goal, and we had scored only one goal. It was difficult for us to be positive, but I was at the hotel when the team was watching the game between Mali and Angola, and you could see in their eyes, you know, what that victory of Mali meant to them. And straight from the following day when we spoke to the coach, the language of the coach changed completely. He was talking about working on the offensive line, and now the only issue was that he's coming here without one of his top attackers in Tembazwane. And back home there had been talk of bringing Thembinkosi Lodge, and today he unleashed Lodge.
Yes.
And I was also not totally convinced on this Egyptian team, as much as they were yet to concede in the tournament, but I was not convinced that their defense can hold on against us when we play on the front foot. And I think for me, on the result of Benin as well, what they did to Morocco, it did something to the boys. Now you've got two teams that came here as one of the four third place finishers through to the last 8. This is, and when people kept on saying Bafana are in through the back door, no, tournament rules.
Yes.
You know, so it's difficult for me to describe this way, especially on the back of what we saw here.
It's a full house. It's exactly what it is. And you could tell as well from some of the journalists who are inconsolable. Although they are journalists, they have to go hard on the coach as well. But for Stuart Baxter, I mean, he cut back a figure. He's been criticized a lot for not utilizing a substitute in time. And again, today it was late substitutions, managing a game as well. Do you think this man has a particular plan now? Because now we go into a stage where the likes of VAR will start to emerge. It gets more exciting in that sense. So there's a lot more than just playing football that we know.
For me, it's going to be very interesting because we're up against a Nigerian team that in Stuart Baxter's first game 2 years ago, this being his second stint, of course, he beat them at home in Uyo, our only win against Nigeria in Nigeria, beating them 2-0. And now he has to meet them here at this very same venue next Wednesday. But it's a different ball game altogether. This is the AFCON, and Nigeria, they've been at this stage. But I believe now anything is possible. We've got nothing to lose. And that is the attitude, that is what we also asked the coach coming to today's game, that coach, you've got nothing to lose. You just have to go all out there, and he agreed with us. And this is what the boys delivered today, also thanks to his tactics. Interestingly, just before we scored, we were also starting to go in hard on him.
Yes, I see bench. Let him use that bench.
And Egypt had made those changes. And also, people need to understand also the weather conditions here.
Yeah,
you saw Lodge was already cramping.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some of these things happen.
Yeah.
Now we can only talk about going forward. Because, you know, Rob, I think we've not had a big win like this one for me in a very, very long time. Remember, this is also the first time this team has proceeded to the quarterfinals, which for me I consider it to the semifinals because this is the expanded AFCON tournament from 16 teams to 24 teams. So in the knockout you've got the last 16 and you've got the quarterfinals. So for me this is the semifinal in the old format.
That's amazing. I think just finally, I know Lodge was man of the match and he deserved it. He got the goal, positional play, was there, the interplay as well was there throughout the entire game. Let's talk about Mnyandu for a second. There's a so-called man who was going to be the superstar wearing jersey number 10. His face is all over Cairo. Mo Salah. Mo needed more space, he didn't get. Mo needed more time, he didn't get. Mo needed more everything, he didn't get. What happened?
Coming to today's game, I was worried about two players.
Yeah.
Mo Salah was one of them. Not because it's Mo Salah, but because he was starting to pick up He has scored 2 goals in the last 2 matches after not scoring in the first game, and you could see the crowd. I mean, when just the visuals were coming out, his jersey from the dressing room, there was just something around Mo Salah. But I was more worried about the other man who was playing on the other wing, Trezeguet. So far, the star of the show for Egypt in this tournament, and how Coach Baxter managed to work on him. And on Shanti, earlier this week we had an opportunity, a day after we got confirmation that we were in the last 16, to have a go at him. Yes. And we had a go at him. Yeah. But I was surprised by his response. You know, he took us to how he thought, and also the criticism as well. He didn't hold back, but also acknowledged his mistakes as well. And this is the response that we were looking for.
What an answer.
I was not entirely happy with his free kicks, but where it matters most, defensively, I thought the extra effort, not just making sure that Mo Salah, the final ball, doesn't work. He was always there, even if he's been left behind, but he was always there. I think for me, he was one of the contenders for the man of the match.
But obviously in the end it becomes a popular vote in terms of man of the match, and we know that it will sometimes go to the most popular player, it will go to the goal scorer, not so much the hard-working player, which Shanti was. It'll be interesting to look at the stats, look at how many kilometers he would have covered in the game here. It's very quiet here in Cairo. It's going to be very quiet for many games to come. Doesn't matter how big the games are going to be. The fans will not be as we've seen today. Maybe in the final, because they are hosting, they might have to make a plan. Something has evaporated, and South Africa are behind that evaporation. Thank you so much, Velile Mnyandu, for joining us.
Thank you, Rob.
We'll see you in the next round.